Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Real Chat Daddy Show. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Tuesday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. I am your host, Chat Daddy. Glad to be back with you guys on the first day of Black History Month 2022. We will celebrate all things Black History Month during the month of February here on the show. And I have some really great guests coming up during this month. Tonight, we're going to talk about a topic that has been in the news over the weekend. We heard the shocking news of Miss Cheslie Kryst, the 2019 winner of the Miss USA pageant, and she was a correspondent for the entertainment news show Extra, died at the age of 30 by suicide. And so tonight, joining us for a very special heart-to-heart conversation is our good friend, Miss Sharon Rowe. Sharon has been in the social work field for over 20 years, but this story is very personal to Sharon. She lost a very prominent friend in 2018 to suicide, and so she wants to talk about the effects of suicide when it's friends, families, loved ones, and even when you are questioning your own mental well-being. Sitting in the co-host chair tonight is our girl, the none other than Miss Kay Renee of Karen's Nuggets of Knowledge. Good evening. How are you, my dear? How's everything? Happy Tuesday. I almost said Monday.
Happy Tuesday. Happy Black History Month to you and to our viewing audience. It has been just an interesting last several days since we've been off the air, and I never would have wanted to talk about this subject, but obviously things happen for a reason, and so it's good that we are talking about this subject.
I can't wait for the conversation later on. Last week when we signed on, we were offering our prayers and condolences to actress, director Regina King on the passing of her son. Now we're doing this for this young lady. And, when you start talking to people, you start reflecting back on more and more stories of suicide. And it just makes you wonder, did those people try to reach out for help? Does it run through your mind? Just a lot of different things. So it's going to be a great conversation this evening. Other than that, my dear, how are you? How's everything else?
Everything is fine. Just what's about to happen tonight here in Chicago for those who are living in the Chicagoland area. Now, I don't know about y'all, but see, when you're younger, you can like this type of liquid. I don't know what you want to call it, but as you get older, it's like, okay, we got enough. But we're anticipating a really bad snowstorm tonight, tomorrow, and maybe on Friday. Don't know, but the groundhog is not coming out tomorrow. I tell you that
No,
now.
no, no,
So
no.
he gonna
Yes,
look at that and say, "Oh, you hell no! I'm going right back in my
yes,
hole. Thank you very much."
yes. Look, we have canceled the groundhog's appearance on this show tomorrow.
Okay.
We did have that nutty ass groundhog booked to be on this show tomorrow night, but we've canceled that because we already know that it's gonna be 12 more weeks of winter. Not look in the usually 6, it's gonna be about 12 more weeks because that's crazy. All right, well, Kay Renee, we have much to talk about tonight on the show. Let me see. I don't even know where to start. First of all, we do want to remind everyone that if you are in the Chicagoland area, tonight we're expecting really, really heavy snow, blowing winds, icy conditions. Please do whatever you can. I was in the supermarket earlier today because I said, aha, there were certain things that I needed to be able to hunker down. The store was not an issue. By the time I came home, saw the afternoon weather forecast, and I said, hey, Chicago, heads up. I was told that the stores are empty now. Like people, are getting ready to hunker down. So, wow, that's amazing how people are not really ready for stuff like that.
You're never ready, and even though we live in a colder climate, you would think everyone says, "Well, you live in Chicago, you should be used to it." No, You never get
Yeah.
used to it because you just want to be able to get out when you want to get out. And we talked about this last month. Month was like the 55th anniversary of the worst snowstorm in history. I wasn't born
Yes.
yet, but I was
Yes.
thought of in
Yes.
'67. So
Yes.
I don't want to see no 20 inches in one day, because in 20 inches you're gonna be in the house for a minute. It's bad enough that everybody's still in the house working from home due to this pandemic, then you add snow on top of it. No,
Right.
no.
No, you're right. You're right. So we just want to remind everyone to please be very careful. Only go out if you need to go out. They're advising that if you do have to get up and go anywhere in the morning, give yourself hours of preparation time to be able to get where you might need to go. Pretty much get everything you need to get tonight because it's supposed to be really bad. So, this is just crazy,
That's
But I
right.
mean, it's expected. It's the winter time. What else, can we do?
Well, my cuddle buddy season's probably out because there ain't no cuddle buddy coming over here, and it's gonna be snowing tonight and tomorrow.
Right. Now, see, I wasn't gonna say anything about
That's
you and
all
your
right.
cuddle buddy situation. I
That's
wasn't,
all
but
right.
I was getting ready to say, yeah, if you don't have a cuddle buddy at your house by 10 o'clock tonight, it just, yeah, it's
It
not
ain't
gonna,
happening.
yeah, it ain't gonna happen. If you
I'm gonna have to
so
wait till next year.
you may want to get on Amazon, you may want to get on Instacart, you may want to get on any of those services and try to order you that cuddle buddy. But if it's not to your door by 10 o'clock tonight, it's pretty much a wrap. Yeah, I'm
For the
sorry, babe.
whole winter season. Let's put it like that.
Oh
So I
no!
gotta wait until
Oh
next year.
no! No, no! Come on, okay, Renee, you can't give up like that. Valentine's is right around the corner. Come on, sis, don't give up.
I'm not
Come on.
I'm not giving up on the V Day, but I'm just saying on the cuddle buddy. I don't know if it's gonna
Okay.
happen this winter.
All right, baby. Well, I'm sorry. Look, I'm so sorry to hear that. Right. Look, right. That hurt my heart to hear that. But no,
It's
I love
okay.
you, darling. Okay.
I
All right.
love you more.
Well, I want to give a major shout out to everyone at the Goodman Theater. Last night, I went to go see a major revival of August Wilson's Gem of the Ocean, and it was directed by the legendary Mr. Chuck Smith. He's the residential director at the Goodman Theater, and Chuck is
Hmm.
just an all around great guy. And the play itself was just absolutely amazing. It was set in 1904. All of the characters were great. Definitely a period piece. It
Hmm.
is 3 hours long. And for those of you all that may go to the theater now, they don't sell any concessions, and all you can have is a little glass of water. And you really should have that outside. Yes, it has changed. You've got to show your vaccination card. You've got to keep your mask on. They even have people that make sure your masks are on.
Well, let me ask you this: could you sneak any little like gum or some snacks or
Yes, yes,
something?
yes, yes,
Okay,
yes,
all
yes,
right, that's good.
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay,
So I'm telling everybody, it's a great production. Don't be afraid by what I just said. You just have to know how to do things. I mean, I'm an ingenious gentleman. So I had my mask on last night, and
uh,
now let me show you now. So
okay.
Me and Boo Thang had snacks last night. I got to
I
keep
bet you.
Boo Thang fed.
I
So
understand.
we would, dip in our little bag quietly, and then we'd be like, like that. Right. We'd be like, right, right. And then we'd be chewing like this.
Okay,
Right. So yes, we got it in. We got it in.
very
So
good,
yes, you can do that.
very
Other than
good.
that, it's an amazing production. It really, really
Okay,
is. The lighting, the sound, the second half is definitely action packed. The first half leads you up to the story, and then the second half takes you on the journey. And so it is really, really good. And I would highly recommend that people go out
how
and
long
check
will
it
it
out.
be at the Goodman Art?
So let me see. The Gem of the Ocean is now running through February 27. Tickets are
Okay,
$25 to $80, goodmantheater.org. And that's it. But it really is a great play. It's
okay.
3 hours.
We may
It's
I
three
may have
hours
to.
long. It's
That's all
huh?
right. I may
Yeah.
have to think about of a ladies' night for my my
Yes.
sisters, we can do that. That'd be a great
Yes,
outing.
very nice, very
Yeah.
nice. Thank you, everybody, for that. All right, as you guys all know, we are a health and wellness show, so we want to give you the latest COVID-19 update numbers. Illinois public health officials reported 8,665 new cases of COVID-19. Unfortunately, we had 123 fatalities to COVID-19 as of Tuesday, or in the 24-hour period, a day after the first Omicron subvariant was detected in the state of Illinois. So we're going to have Dr. Janet Seabrook on with us next week to be able to talk about what this new variant is and what we need to be looking out for that. I know, hold that for a minute. There have now been 2,929,638 total COVID cases in the state of Illinois. And unfortunately, we've had 31,036 deaths since the beginning of the pandemic. Our now 7-day statewide positivity rate is 8.5, which is down now from 9.1, which was on Monday. So that's very, very good news. As of Monday night, 3,805 patients were reported to be in the hospital battling COVID-19. This marks the 19th day in a row where hospitalization numbers have dropped. So that's very good. Of those numbers, 669 patients were in the ICU and 402 were on ventilators. And on the positive note, 20,548,687 vaccine dosages have been administered in the state of Illinois as of Sunday. And that makes us now have 62.24% of our state fully vaccinated. I can get off my soapbox now. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't want you to you have to get out for a second because this is a story kind of related to COVID, but not. And I
Okay.
said this: the fact that 2 New York nurses were charged with forging COVID vaccine cards. Now, how about that? Now, what's up
I
with
saw that. I saw that. Well,
What is
let's
up
look
with
at
that?
isn't that crazy? I saw that. And remember, I said to you when they first started doing these vaccination cards, I said, what would keep people from not duplicating or creating these vaccination cards? Because keep in mind, when I first got mine, I went someplace and had them photocopy it and then laminate it for me. What made you think somebody there wouldn't keep it and kind of, I mean, people know what to do with liquid paper. They know how to alter things. So I wondered about that to begin with. How much did they make?
1.5 million.
Wow.
In New
They
York,
really
in
are
Long
queens.
Island, New York. So
Yes.
they going to jail.
Right. But look, them king pins, or should I say queen pins? Those are queen pins to make that type of money off of something like that. Well, I'm sure you heard the news of the COVID testing places here in Illinois. I think there were like 150 in Chicago or surrounding areas that was giving out false COVID test results or
Yep.
not giving people their results back at all.
Yep.
And that's something. So that affects a lot of people. I think, they were saying that, quite a few people will be put out of work because, COVID trackers, tracers, all that kind of stuff. So that's interesting.
I tell you.
Okay, so we have a comment. People didn't question it when the car. Oh, no, they did not question it. No, they did not. Matter of fact, people thought it was an ingenious idea that I had it laminated. And matter of fact, you can go to some drugstores now and they sell little. No. They sell little holders, like a little Ziploc kind of pouch type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you put your card in there.
Okay.
But mine is on my phone now. It's so much easier for me to show mine on my phone,
It's a lot easier. Yeah.
Right. A lot easier. So, yes. All right. Go right ahead.
Hi, Lolo. Hi,
Hey,
Miss
Lolo.
Lolita.
That's just a pinch, queen. That's just a pinch.
I need my pinch soon.
That's just a little bit. After the snowstorm, I'll get you a pinch over there. I promise you.
Okay.
Yes. The love of money is the root of all evil. I cannot agree more with you, but I mean, I need a little bit more so so I can test my evil. Right. I need just a little bit more so I can test my evil, God. Right. I just need a little bit more. So,
Just a
right.
little bit more art.
Just right. I ain't tested my evil enough
Oh
yet. So,
my
I
goodness.
really, yes, I really need to test my evil.
Well,
Okay.
you know,
Go ahead.
since we've left the air, we've had, besides Miss Chelsea, there have been a few other transitions that have happened, and I want to make sure the first person, and I don't want to say his name incorrectly, but he was a well-known Zen master and activist, Thich Nhat Han, and he passed away last month at the age of 95. He was well known. In fact, he was met Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and that's how they had a conversation about nonviolence and peace. So I was really surprised that thank you, Miss Lolita, that he
Mhm.
made his transition. But he, along with, now you remember the series WKRP in Cincinnati.
Yes, yes. I used to love WKRP in Cincinnati. Yes.
Tim Reed, who played Venus Flytrap, but the one who we all know and adored. Now, see, we're telling our age, but that's okay. Howard Hessman, who played the disc jockey Johnny,
Yes.
um, made his transition over the weekend at the age of 81. Dr.
Okay.
Johnny Fever, that was his character at
Okay. Yes.
WKRP. So,
Yes. And that's how
it's,
we all met Lonnie Anderson.
yes.
Yes, I used to love that WKRP. Shanita said Howard Hessman, yes,
Right.
and he played the iconic
Dr.
Dr.
Johnny
Johnny
Fever. Thank you,
Fever. Yes,
Shanita.
he did. Yes,
So,
absolutely. All right.
and so we just, and then, of course, from politics, it may be a certain Supreme Court justice is retiring. And
I
guess
saw
what?
that.
Black girl magic may be happening, y'all. We may have a black Supreme Court justice. So,
Yes.
Stephen Breyer, who is set to retire, once he does, President Biden has of course, the ability to nominate a Supreme Court justice, and he made a promise that if he had the opportunity, he was going to nominate a black woman. So I am hopeful that will happen.
Well, now, my dear, you did hear that the Republicans are fighting
Mm.
back against
Of
that,
course they are.
and that
They
the
always do that.
Republicans said they want everybody to be given a chance. Why would it have to be a black woman? But if I'm not mistaken, a black woman would be the only thing that has never not served on the Supreme Court. Am I right
Thank
or
you
wrong?
very much. You are very correct. I mean, the one
Okay.
person I
Okay.
had posted the moment I had heard that Stephen Breyer was set to retire, Constance Baker Motley, who was one woman, if y'all don't know who she is, nor unfortunately she's not with us, but she had moved up the ranks in the judicial space. And if anybody would have been nominated at the time, she would have been. So
Right.
it is our time, y'all. Don't ever get it
Mhm.
twisted. So I'm
Right.
hopeful,
Right.
and there's several different choices that President Biden can select. So it will be interesting to see how this goes. But I'm hopeful that we will have a black woman to serve on the Supreme Court, as we
Here,
should.
here. Here, here. I couldn't agree more. And that was well said on Black History Month. Debbie Green pointed out that we had another suicide. Moses Mosley of The Walking Dead. That's right. Uh, Succumbed to suicide as well, too. It's just tragic. It really, really is.
And then a
All
mayor
right.
from Hyattsville, Maryland, Kevin Ward, committed suicide. A mayor. I'm just,
It's just horrible. It just really is. It gives you a lot to think about, you know?
it does.
Lolita said black girl magic. Yes, you're absolutely right about the black girl magic, and we're very proud of that. All right, K Renee, continue on. What else we got in the news tonight?
Well, it seems like somebody's gonna have a little bun in the oven, and she gonna be due in about 8 months. And y'all know her as Riri or Rihanna.
Right.
And she let the world know yesterday that she is expecting. And so,
Yes.
congratulations to Miss Rihanna, because A lot of people were saying, well, why she got to show that? Well, why not? Well, I unfortunately, even though when I was pregnant, I was only pregnant for 9 weeks, but it's a woman's choice to let the world know that she's expecting, and it can be a
Mhm.
wonderful time in a woman's life when she is going to have a baby. So, congratulations, Rihanna.
Yes, and congratulations to her baby daddy, ASAP Rocky.
Yes.
Congratulations. They seem to be getting along swimmingly. People were commenting about both of their past relationships and how they've come together, and things are
Mm-hmm.
really working out for the best. And so, congratulations to the one and only Miss Rihanna and Mr. ASAP Rocky. So, very
Yes.
good.
Yes.
Yay. We can't wait to see the baby. I know that's going to be
Oh, that
exciting.
baby's gonna be probably pretty as I don't know whether girl or boy.
And,
That
and,
child
and
gonna be
look,
pretty.
and do you see the Fenty baby collection coming
Oh,
next?
oh, absolutely. That's
Right.
coming.
I see the
I mean,
Fenty
she is
baby
a she
collection.
is a billionaire, y'all, so she can
Yes,
do
she
whatever she
is.
wants.
Yes. And in honor
Now,
of Black History Month.
wait. Now we cannot not talk about what happened over the weekend. We cannot
What?
talk about the documentary of Miss Janet, if you're nasty Jackson. Now,
That
come
was on
on
my
now.
list. That was on my list. All right. So let's get started with this.
Yes.
The first 2 of 4 hours chronicling the life of Grammy winning pop star Janet Jackson received a combined viewership of over 3 million viewers, way
Wow.
above any typical show of that time on any of the networks. The documentary also drew a 0.66 rating among those 18 to 49 across its 2 hours, beating everything in the Nielsen measured TV in prime time when it was on. Janet
Wow.
Jackson also led in cable viewing of 18 to 34 and 24 to 54. Lifetime draw about 2/3 of its audience, which averages about 1.9 million people at 8 p.m. And it garnered 2.11 million for the second episode of it. So the numbers were just off the chain, off the chain, off the chain, off the chain. So we all know what we were watching Friday and Saturday night. As I said on social media, as grandma used to say, my story's on, don't y'all bother me. And so that's what I said Friday and Saturday when Janet came on. Now, for those of you all who have not seen it, we don't want to spoil it here on the show tonight. We should give this some more days. I know, but because it was such a hot topic, we're going to try to get around it and so people catch up. But here's some things that we need to talk about. The songstress generously shared never seen before footage of her private moments, but behind the scenes looks of her in the recording studios, some of her tour performances. Now, what we did learn about was some of her relationships and her trying to break away from her father. What did you find to be the most interesting thing about her early years, Kay Renee?
For the fact that Janet wanted to go to college, she wanted to be an attorney, and I could see that, right? Um, she had struggles just like all of us. Everyone knows about her struggles with weight. In fact, when she wrote her book about that and self esteem for girls, which I'm really proud of her about. Um, and she's just very strong, just a very strong woman. A lot of people, she's extraordinarily shy. You can see that.
Yes, yes,
But don't get it twisted. She's a very strong woman. And it just,
yes,
after seeing the documentary, I always respected Janet because she was born during our time, right?
right,
So,
yes,
I just have even more great respect for her. And the fact that, like her, she was a daddy's girl. Even though she tried to break away from her father, at the end of the day, she loved her dad very
right,
much.
yes,
So, you're gonna find out some things for those who haven't watched it, and there's some you're gonna be like, she. I think in some aspects, especially regarding the wardrobe malfunction,
yes,
I felt that she took too much. I
right,
really do. I felt that a certain other whatever his name is, Should have.
Justin
Well,
Timberlake, yeah,
I was
Justin
gonna say it, but I'm gonna thank you.
JT, yes,
JT should have
yes.
been more accountable for what happened, and that's just my opinion.
Okay. All right. Well, here's some things that I took away from it. First of all, I never knew that the Jacksons lived on the Jackson Street way before they became famous. So the
Right.
street they lived on in Gary was
Mm-hmm.
Jackson Street, and
That's
later to
correct.
become so successful and famous that the street is really named after them now. So that was
Right.
incredible.
Right.
Now, I did not realize that Michael said such hurtful things to Janet, like
Yeah.
calling her a gutted
Pig
hog
and yeah, I
and
ain't like
things
that.
like that. So, I'm sure that put a strain on the relationship. And then here's the other thing I did not know, but it made good sense to me once I thought about it, is that Janet and Randy are the closest of all the siblings
Mm-hmm.
because they grew up together. They're the
Mm-hmm.
closest. They share all of their secrets. Here's the deal. They actually co-produced the documentary. They both were
They did.
co-executive producers. So, and again, that helps because you're able to turn to your sibling and say, now, remember that time? Oh, yeah, I remember that time. And, so it helps quite a bit with that. So, yes, let me
Absolutely.
see. As you said, Janet never wanted to be an entertainer. The way she ended up becoming an entertainer is her family had a residency in Las Vegas, and somebody put some clothes on her and pushed her out there on stage. But then,
Exactly.
Kay Renee, you remember when we were growing up, and if you could dance, what did your family tell you to do? Come dance for the family.
Yeah. Or
Come,
sing.
come dance for your family. Come dance, right?
Exactly. Or
So we
come
was
sing.
we right. We were being pimped in. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Right. We were being pimped in.
That's
Right.
right.
We
That's
just didn't
right.
blow up. We just didn't blow up like
That's
that.
all.
Right.
We did. And you
Right.
got to give her father a lot of credit because, he worked in the steel mill, but he had his family, was in the music business. And so, and think about it. I said this to you offline. He had 9 children
Yep.
and 6 boys.
Right.
To raise boys to be who they are, it takes a lot of strength. Now,
Yes, it does.
how he did it, you may want to argue a bit, but they did not get into drugs when they were growing up. He was very regimented with those boys.
Right.
So, you got to give him, and the mother too. I mean, they came from a two-parent household.
Yes. Yes.
That's a
Miss
wonderful thing.
Jackson. Miss Jackson used to work at the Sears store in Gary,
Yes.
Indiana.
Didn't
She
know
used to
that
work at the
either.
right. She used to work at the Sears store. Back then they called it Sears and Roebuck.
That's
She
right.
worked. She worked at the
Sears and
Sears and
Roebuck.
Roebuck,
That's right.
downtown Gary. Yes,
That's right.
absolutely.
Downtown Gary. That's right.
Lolita has a great comment.
And Joe Jackson worked at U.S. Steel.
That's right.
Mostly everybody
Uh,
worked at the steel company in Gary, right?
that's right. Lolita says, "Come dance for your
That's
family.
right.
It
She's
doesn't
right.
matter if it's 2 a.m. in the morning." Right. Anytime you was a cute little kid that could dance, your family made you dance in front of everybody. That's
That's
probably
right.
why half of y'all strippers now, anyway. But that's okay. I digress. That's another whole nother story. That's probably why half of y'all have been in the strip club working. But that ain't none of my business. No, it's not. I'm sorry. I digress. Right.
And then too, we didn't know about her first husband, about what happened.
Yes.
So it kind of
Yes.
confirmed some things, and she came out and
Yes.
said.
Now
So
you talking about the marriage with James DeBarge.
that's the one I'm talking about.
Okay, so it was suspected it may have been some drug use. I suspect it may have been some other use too. So, we'll just leave that where it's at. I think, that was a time period too where a lot of young men, black young men, the sexuality thing was a big struggle for a lot of them back then at that time
Yeah.
period. So I don't know what happened with that. And then her relationship. Now, I really was jealous of the relationship between her and Renee until I found out that, I guess Renee started using pain pills and started becoming manipulative and abusive. And, so that part is the sad part about it. But I really love the relationship the way it was when they first started.
Oh yeah, because he really had her back. But at the end of the day, men he wanted control, and that's what she was trying to gain. She was kind of trying to keep control for herself, and
Right.
that's her journey. And so, I mean, you look at things now the way she is, because Janet does not live here. She, even though she has homes here, she still lives in London. And a lot of people ask, well, what about the third husband? And the reason why you didn't hear anything about the third husband, because they have an agreement, because he got money, 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 money,
I
money, money,
told
money, money.
I told that to somebody today. I said, listen, Janet Jackson's third husband, that could have been almost an arranged
It could
situation,
have been.
but she really wanted a child. And
She
she
did.
wasn't getting ready to have no child that looked like Jermaine Dupri because he cheated on her. So we
Okay.
already know that. So
Okay.
Janet probably wanted to get her a child that looked like an Arabian stallion. And
And let
and
me.
and and right, because she said how pretty her little boy is, and I know he
And
probably is.
well, we saw one photo of Mr. Master Issa, and he is adorable when he was
Right.
first almost
Yes.
born. But he's very, and I can understand her third husband being very protective. But again, he
Yes.
got money, 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 money.
Yes,
And
he do. Yes, he
they had
do.
a talk saying,
Yes.
"Listen, I know who you
Yes.
are,
Yes.
but since we're gonna
Yes.
part ways, these are some of the criteria, conditions that have to happen." That's
Absolutely.
why.
And I'm sure Janet is probably getting a stipend for that little boy that is
Hello,
enough that do you understand
hello.
me? Right, right.
Hell, I
Right,
would have got
right.
had his child and said, "What you want me to?" That's not a problem. And she
You
talked
need
to, and see, that was another thing. She talked about her journey of having a baby. It is
right,
very difficult for women, and once you get a certain age, to get pregnant. So if
right,
she couldn't get pregnant here in the States, she had to go to Italy. She had to go to Europe to make sure that she was going to get pregnant. So that's a
right.
whole nother topic that we could definitely talk about.
Oh, absolutely. Because real quick, because we have our next guest coming, but I know of a situation where somebody got with somebody that was from an Arab descent,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of like, okay, you're a sister girl, but he really did love her, like her, and everything that first wife does, this young lady does it with him as well too, and he got so much money. Oh, please, one wife is in the presidential suite and she is in the next presidential suite. Whatever the wife gets, she would have to get. And she said, I'm never gonna I would never have to be his first lady. I would never, because that's how well he taking care of her. She moved over there. She moved over there. She met him as a flight attendant and moved over there. But see, black women and man sharing. So we have to talk about, I got that new show coming.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Black women and man sharing. But yes. And look, when I say to you, she is doing very well, and she is the mistress. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we'll leave it at that. Look what he said. Oh yeah, he owns
Oh yeah,
Saks.
we know
Yeah,
who he Wissam
yeah.
is. We
Oh,
know who he
absolutely.
is.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Absolutely. Her clothing allowance is probably six. Her clothing allowance is probably, you know what I'm saying, when he owns all these things. All right. But for those of you all that are just joining us, welcome to the Tuesday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. It is Tuesday, February 1st, 2022. It is the second month of the new year. Can you believe that? So do we stop saying Happy New Year now? I guess,
I
yeah.
think we can. I think we
Okay,
can.
we can.
Unless
Okay.
you wait, unless you haven't seen the person in a long time and you happen
Okay.
to see him this month, say, "Oh, Happy New Year." But
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay. Well, see, at this point, I'd be like, where you been? Where you
Right.
been?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, we could
at
do
this
that
point, I'd be
too.
like, where you been? We also want to say happy Chinese New Year to all of our Asian friends, family, and
Yes.
followers. It is the year of the tiger.
Mm.
So very good. I know. Cougar.
That's what I need. I need a cut. Well, I know Color Buddy season's over, but I definitely need a tiger.
Oh, you need a tiger?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll have to get you a tiger. Well,
Mm-hmm.
tonight we gonna get you a tiger, ma'am. I promise you that. Well, as we told you guys before, tonight we're gonna talk about the number of stories we have been hearing lately about people committing suicide. And whenever
Yeah.
people commit suicide, it is never easy. No death is ever easy, but a suicidal death is something that just makes everyone wonder what happened. Could I have helped more? Did I not hear the signs, the cry for help? What was the problem that my friend, family member, colleague, whatever it is, took their life to suicide? And as this year has just begun so far, we know of at least 3 to 4 popular stories that have dominated the news when it comes to suicide. Over the weekend, we heard the extremely shocking news of Miss Cheslie Kryst, 2019 winner of the Miss USA pageant, and she also was a correspondent for the entertainment news program Extra. She died at the age of 30. She reportedly lived in a 60-story building, but she jumped from the 29th floor common area. So in that common area, I guess was like the barbecue grills, swimming pool, that type of situation. And that's where she jumped. As you guys all know, her mom was a beauty queen pageant winner. She was an attorney. She had nothing to, you know what I'm saying? And it's hard to, I hate saying that because when people are going through something, you can't look at finance, you can't look at good health or any of those things. You just wonder what is the problem. You know, okay, Renee?
I do. Unfortunately, I know it all too well. And
Very good.
yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Well, our guest this evening is a friend to the show. She's been a friend of mine for a number of years. She and I actually met in a business capacity, but then we eventually became friends. And when I tell you guys, when it comes to someone listening to you, someone being supportive, someone saying, I understand what you're saying, how can I best help you, is my dear friend, Miss Sharon Rowe. Sharon is a certified, let me make sure I have this correct, mental health counselor. She's been doing this for over 20 years. But now here's the deal. Sharon is just not here to help us in that space. She's here tonight to help us to share her own personal story of losing a friend back in 2018 to suicide. And this friend lived a very, very prominent life, just like the former Miss USA. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, my friend and friend to the show, Miss Sharon Rowe.
Hi, Art. Hi, how are you, Renee?
Hi,
How you
Sharon. How are
doing?
you?
I'm good, and you? How are you both?
We are
Thanks
wonderful.
for having me.
We're good.
Sharon, you look amazing tonight as always. Let me get you on the
Oh,
big screen. It's a pleasure to have you here tonight. Sharon, not only are you in the social work field and have been in it for years, you're a social media influencer. You are always talking to people about living their best life, living a positive and purpose driven life. But here we are dealing with just another suicide. Let's talk about your good friend and how she ended up losing her life.
wow. I'll never forget that day because it just so happened the day that she committed suicide. It was April 26, 2018, and it just so happened it was the same day. It was the anniversary of my mother's death. But you know what? It was just so amazing because she was so brilliant. I met her when I was in high school when we were 16. We just instantly clicked. She was very, very driven. It was because of her that I made the honor roll. I remember, you know how like you have friends to come over and that person spend the night or what have you. And I remember her in my room telling me, you know what, Sharon, you need to get on the honor roll for yourself. It has nothing to do with your parents.
Right.
Like what's your problem? She was very no nonsense. She was always that way. She was very driven. This is a person that was, she ended up going away to, Xavier College. We also became medical explorers at Christ Hospital. She was just so driven. And so when I got the news, I saw it on Facebook, and I was just so shocked because I think we live in a world where everybody wants to present. Even like say, when we get on, we want to get a filter, you want to get the light right, you want to make sure you look right because sometimes we're our own worst critic. And it's so we pay so much attention to looking a certain way when I think we have to get more transparent because if you live in this world, you're gonna have 4 seasons. That's just how it is.
Hmm.
And you got to learn how to
Hmm.
withstand all seasons, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so
Hmm.
again, uh, again, it was just very shocking because she was very prominent. Um, she went away to school. She became an RN. And so this is a person who was well aware of mental health, what to do, how to do. But I think sometimes when the shoe lands on your foot and when it's your issues, it's a whole nother ball game. I think we have to learn. I think we're very good at giving other people advice and telling other people what to do. But when it comes home and it meets you at your own door, we're lost because we're so, especially as women, we're so used to taking care of everybody else when we don't take care of ourselves. And so I
Hmm.
think,
Yes,
and the
Lord.
part that got me the most was, um, and what made me slow down was that she had called earlier in the year. And you know how you always say, we're going to get together, we're going to do something. And I'm going to be honest, when I go to work, come back home after you get dinner together, deal with the kids and homework. I want to sleep. I'm that person, you know?
Right.
And
Hmm.
Right.
so when she called, I'm the type of person who will basically say, it got to happen on the weekend. If you say anything during the week, it's just not happening. But I learned from her that's one of my biggest regrets because she wanted to talk and I kind of like blew it off because she was always well put together. And so I just imagine, we would always have time. It'll be another time sometime later. But then that's one of the things that haunted me is the fact that I should have made time and I should have took the time. But we take for granted that our strong friends are okay and don't need any help, and so I have, I played that over in my mind plenty of times since 2018. What could I have done different? Because again, this is a person that was on the honor roll, who was a scholar, who got a scholarship, who I'll take it as far as she even met the president, Obama at the time. She was very, very brilliant to say the least. And so for this to happen to someone like that, it just made me look at and say, I really need to relook at things.
Wow. Okay, Renee, I'm sure you have a series of questions as well as I'm sure you want to share some things that you're thinking about. Go right ahead.
Well, first, Sharon, thank you for sharing your story because, like you hear about, you know, friends or even family, but I can tell you it really hit me hard about Chelsea um, because 18 years ago I almost tried to do the same thing.
Oh, wow.
And the only thing that stopped me was the fact that the glass didn't break. Um, it's hard
Mm-hmm.
to say this now, and a lot of people don't know this, and it's okay. But when I had to, at the time I was married, and my former husband had taken me to the hospital, and my parents were just devastated. My mom was, but my dad, who was my rock, who had always been, he said, "Baby, you're gonna be okay." He said, "But you've gotta get yourself together." And you don't know when that breaking point is. Um, and that's why after that experience, Sharon, I always try to check on all my friends because I know what that's like. I know how it can get to you where you just don't know where to turn. And I know I made a promise to God while I was going through that experience. I said, "Lord, you get me through this. Whatever happens, I'm going to continue to honor this body." Because I did not, I mean, to be honest with you, Sharon, I said, okay, if this happened, how would my parents feel? I'm thinking still about them. I said, okay, if I do this, this is going to be not the best thing. And it helped me understand that even the strongest person, and a lot of people, will say to you that Karen's very strong, which there are times I am, but there are times I'm not. And when those times I'm not, I do seek help, because if I don't, I don't ever want to go to that point again. And I
Mm-hmm.
know
Yeah.
how that can be when you get to that point. Especially, being a black woman, being a woman that's trying to do things, the best things that you can. And, as I said, for me, it was just, I was not in a good place. I can't believe it'll be 18 years ago on February 8th, 2004. I know exactly where I was. I know exactly what I wanted to do. And it was through the grace of God, because those glasses did not break, because I wanted to break it. I was on the 11th floor where my apartment was. It didn't break. And that was God saying, it's not your time yet. You got stuff to
Wow.
do.
Wow.
And even though going through that experience, and I mean, this is a whole different scenario when you have to go through, you go to the hospital, you got, they got to ask certain questions, and depending upon what the response is going to be, they either try to give you medication or put you somewhere. And I have more empathy for the patients there going through that experience. And the one thing that really pissed me off, and I shared this with Art personally, and I'm going to say this now. I used to work for a managed care organization, and when there were two of my former colleagues, they were so damn nosy. They trying to call the hospital to find out what happened to me. So when I returned back to work, everybody and their mama knew what happened. And see, this is, to me, this is why HIPAA is so important, and why people need to just have more compassion and empathy, because you don't never know when that time will come. So, for me, it just, when I heard about Cheslie and I used to judge pageants, I was crying over the weekend because it hurt my heart. This woman was like your friend, brilliant, beautiful. She knew about mental health, but at the end of the day, where was that that support for her? And I'm sure if her family's listening, we are praying for you, because we know that you have lost a star. But everything happens for a reason, and I'm glad that we're having this conversation, because somebody from our audience may need to hear this. That
Yes.
Whatever that you're going through, remember one thing: you are truly loved.
Mm-hmm. I
Period.
couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. Sharon, let's take the hat of friend off, if we could, for a moment, and let's put your professional hat on, of you being so good to people when I was struggling. Again, you and I met in a business format. We became friends. I admitted my struggles with some things, and you just have been so kind and generous to me every step of the way, unlike other people. I could list so many MFs that never even return phone calls. And so, for those that are out here really struggling and need some help and things like that, what advice would you give to them, Sharon? Because we live in a cold world right now. We live in a world where ain't nobody giving a damn about what
About
you're going
nothing.
through.
That's
Well,
right.
you know what? I would say that despite what people may think, the very first place where you might want to start is actually, if you have a good relationship, is talking with your doctor. Fortunately, I have a very good relationship. And even, let's just say, if you think you have your medical insurance is not the best, you will be surprised, because Medicaid has some of the best insurance that's out there with the MCOs. I personally, I used to work for Illini Care, and I know that there are Blue Cross, you have Aetna, you have County Care, you have Molina. They have some very good providers that have a lot of mental health benefits that are available. And you can have a care coordinator that they will talk to you, and you will be surprised at the supports that they have available that is so different than in the day of old. There's so many resources available, but you have to reach out. And then
Mm.
now also have that 1-800 number is 1-800-273-TALK.
Oh,
825.
baby, we got it. We got it. We got it right here. National
Mhm.
Suicide Prevention Lifeline 800-273-8255. That is 800-273-8255. If you know of anyone that is struggling, anyone that needs to talk to somebody, I admitted to both of you ladies that I had several periods of struggling. I am currently in treatment for the prevention of suicide, if there's such a thing. My biggest issue was that if I ever was to do something like that, I'd hate to leave things for other people to have to clean up, other people
Right.
to have to deal with the mess. I even was conscientious about if it was to happen right here, and I don't die, Lord, what a mess I'd make. And and the doctor says that that's even a part of it as well too. So a lot of people think just because you contemplate it, oh, I'm not going to do that, but even just for you to contemplate it means that you are really, needing to get some help or assistance.
Absolutely.
And you know what? I would also suggest too, even if you just have someone to talk to, because also uh, I think it's very important to have somebody who you can connect with and who is open to you. Because as long as you have a open line of communication, because I think what happens with suicide is that you take a temporary problem and you make it permanent. And if
Yes.
you
Mhm.
had someone who you could talk to and kind of deflect and go through it, I think you'll be able to kind of come to some way, some conclusion where you can deflect and do something different. Because again, we all have bad days, and I think we have to realize that is common. It's normal to not have sunshine every day. Just like right now, we're in winter. We have to learn our triggers. We have to learn our challenges, and then we have to basically become overcomers and do what is necessary. Get you like a tool belt of what you need so you could have the support that you need. Self-care is very important, and I
It
think
is.
we neglect ourselves in that area because I think some people perceive that as weak. It's not strong when you're not taking care of yourself. It's just like on that airplane. If you don't put your oxygen mask on first, you're no good for anybody else. You have to be good to yourself first. Take care of yourself first before you can help anybody else.
I got some numbers from 1920. I'm not 1920, 2020. Forgive me, you guys. I'm so emotional from this. And this number came from the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office. Let's look at from the beginning of the year to July 24th of 2020. There were 57 recorded deaths of Black men, women, and children that had committed suicide since the beginning of the year. That's a lot of people. That's quite a bit. And that is numbers from 2020. I have yet to
Right.
do the numbers for this year, past year, because of the pandemic. And because we're going to continue this conversation, I just thought I'd go back a couple of years to let you know what the numbers are. So that's 2020. And from January to July 24th, January to July 24th, 57 people had committed suicide in the city of Chicago, Black people. So that's interesting because that's another thing. Black people are not wanting to address their mental health issues.
No.
One of our viewers, Lolita, I think, made an excellent comment. Let me see if I can find her comment again. Lolita says, true, the one problem in the Black community is we don't address mental health. The Black community feels it's a stigma. I was fortunate enough to be raised by a mom who was a psychologist, which is beautiful. Let's talk about why is it such a stigma in our community, Sharon. I ain't gonna see no doctor. I ain't crazy. Or better yet, girl,
Mm-hmm.
you know my ass is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Right. We letting
Right.
that be the factor now. Girl, you know my ass is crazy.
Well, you know what? I think now we're getting in a place where, like, again, although it's kind of half and half, I think some people take the stance of, I want to be transparent. You know what? I have no shame in my game. I have a counselor and I keep her on speed dial because, again, as a person who intake, as a social worker, I listen to problems every single day. You have to have a way to address your own mental health. And I think that's healthy. So I think everyone should have I just personally think you need somebody who you can talk to, who is unbiased, who will give you some good information, some resources, and help you to deflect and go over things. I believe it's just useful. I think we come from a place where it used to be taboo. We were told that we don't talk about business outside of the home. And I think that
Right.
was just the culture of us from before. But we have to learn how to move forward. And if something in the past is not working, we got to learn how to reinvent it, and we have to learn how to move forward. So again,
Mm-hmm.
I think my mother used to always say, "There's more room out than in." Get it out, address it, say what it is, and move on, move forward.
Mm-hmm.
Let go. It's a lot of healing that needs to take place. It's again, nobody is perfect. That's we want to strive for to excel and be better, but nobody's perfect. And so we have to have realistic goals, and we have to have realistic expectations. And like I said, again, when I think about my friend and the plight that she had, regardless to whatever was going on, I just really wish she would have known how valued she was. Even if the worst, I think sometimes we have to think about the worst case scenario. And even if it did happen, guess what? You'll still live to see another day. You'll get past that. I think trouble don't last always. It's just like
No.
at midnight. It's so dark, but then the
Right.
sun comes up it comes back up. So we
Right.
have
Right.
to learn how to be more resilient and get around people who care, because your real tribe, they're going to be right there with you regardless to the circumstances. So
That's
you have to
right.
learn which person is a leaf, which person is a branch, and which person is a root.
This is
Because
Right.
a
that's
leaf is
right.
going to break, a branch is going to break, but a root is going to be there to the end. And so you got to
That's
find your
right.
roots, find your tribe. And that's so important.
Well, now that's
Yes.
funny you said that. Shanita made an excellent comment. It goes back to great grandma, great grandma, and great great grandma. Them that why they never talked about these issues is spewed over to the next generation, and so on and so on. And that's what I wanted to say as well too. If you don't know what's in your DNA, if you come from murderers, if you come from alcoholics, drug addicts, if you come from crooks, whatever is in your DNA and in the fiber of your people, that plays a huge part in it as well too. And like Shanita said, for years people didn't want to talk about that uncle that was back there in that back room that never talked to nobody, never socialized. It brings out problems when there are mental health issues and we try to hide them. Okay, Renee, where are you at with that?
No, you just on point, and Sharon, you're definitely right. You need to have a strong tribe with a lot of roots, because if you don't have those roots, it'll be very challenging. But at the end of the day, even more so, if you need someone to talk to, find that person to talk to. There are resources out there, and prayer does work. But I think also you want to have that unbiased person to help you get you through the next day, because as you
Mhm.
said, trouble doesn't last always, and joy does come in the morning. It may not seem like it at the time, but it does.
You
Mm-hmm.
know what? And one of the things I just also want to kind of mention that I think they fail to realize, I think sometimes when people contemplate suicide, they feel like they're at the end of their rope. We really need to do something about what they call social determinants of health. We need to get rid of the barriers. I think sometimes when people feel like I don't have income, I can't pay my rent, the real issues when they're hitting, and I think they really, hit with this pandemic, we need to make access to resources easier, because they make it
Right.
so painfully uh, challenging that the ones who really need the support and the resources, the amount of loops and jumps and humps that you have to do, it really creates barriers. So we need to find some way to streamline it, to make resources easier. I believe they need like a mental health toolkit, that we need to be more mindful about being proactive, and instead of being so reactive, we do
That's
things when
right.
it's too late. It's a shame. At a funeral, you can get a whole room, but if for that same person, you probably couldn't get 5 people to come out while they was living. We have to learn how
That's
to
right.
do stuff on the front end and stop on this back end thing.
I
We have to
Yeah.
be
agree.
more, we have to learn that love is a verb. That means do something. And
That's
and we
right.
have to get more involved.
Pass the collection plate. Let the church say amen.
Amen.
Look, bring your tambourine, Kay Renee, because she laid that sermon on out. She really did.
Yes,
She
she
did. She
did.
did. Kay Renee, I know you want to close out with your normal question that you'd asked of all of our guests. And then we're going to say good night to Sharon because that was excellent. Go right ahead, Kay Renee.
Well, before I do, Sharon, thank you for allowing me to have the space to share my personal story. Um, and I always ask this: who inspires you to be the best that you can be?
You know what? I gotta say, it's my mother. Although she's in heaven, um, she is she's the reason that I do things. I go with her lessons and legacy every single day. My mother always say it's better to be a giver than it's better to give than to receive, and love is a verb. And so every day, I think Art can attest to that. I try to be the change I wish to see, and it's all because of Dorothy.
Oh,
Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that
that
beautiful?
is.
Yes, I know. I love Sharon so much. Sharon, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy
Thank you both
schedule.
for having me.
Yes, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing your journey about your late friend. We're so sorry about that. But I really do think your story is valuable and that people really do need to hear that because a lot of times we don't hear the stories from good friends and personal family members and things like that. God bless you, my friend. We really do appreciate you. Have a great night. And
Okay.
thanks again. The one and only Miss Sharon Rowe, you guys. That was outstanding.
Yes.
Outstanding. Yes, it was.
Yes.
I just love my buddy Sharon. She's a great person. Let's see. Shanita said we need more funding for mental health. I agree. Boy, K. Renee, that was a journey, wasn't it?
Yeah,
You okay, my
it
love?
was.
Let's
No,
usai. Let's.
I'm I'm good because
Okay.
I remember you a week ago you had released some things with 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 one of your guests, and there's
Right.
something to
Oh
be
yeah.
said. There's something to be said when I needed to release that, and I'm not ashamed that it happened. I'm
Right.
grateful that it did because it
Yes.
reminded me how I needed to take care of me. Because everyone
Yes.
will say, Karen's such a strong person, but even the strongest ones, those are the ones you really need to watch
Right.
because we're not
Yes.
going to say anything. We're
Right.
not going to come
Right.
out and say, "Oh, I'm having this." No, that's not how it happened with me. And I'm
Right.
just, grateful to God, honestly, that He was like, it's not time for you to go yet. You got stuff to do." So,
Right. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Well. Darling, if you need anything, I'm just a phone call away. Well, how does the song say? Just reach out and touch my hand. That's all. So if you need anything, well, can we get a Karen's Nuggets of Knowledge from you tonight, my dear?
Yes, this is Black History Month, and so just so you know, guys, all my quotes, all the nuggets will be from wonderful men and women who had excellence in our history. And this is Live Your Truth Tuesday, and here's the nugget. Success is to be measured not so much by the position that one has reached in life, as by the obstacles which he has overcome. And that nugget was by Booker T. Washington, who I might be related to. I got to check on that. And this is Live Your Truth Tuesday. Hashtag success is measured by your mindset.
Booyah! Booyah! Karen's Nuggets of Knowledge.com. Karen's Nuggets of Knowledge.com is where you can find out all the information you need to know about her and get your wonderful nugget of knowledge. This month, she's doing a Black History Month special. They will all have a soul food side dish to go along with them.
Yes,
How about that?
Lord.
Does that sound
How
right?
about it? That
Sweet
sounds
potato pie.
perfect.
How about that? Some collard
Yes.
greens. Yeah, some mac and cheese.
Some
How about
kale
all of that?
salad
Yeah.
from my big brother, Chat Daddy. Kale salad.
Oh, no, wait. We got to give Ursula that credit for that kale salad.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ursula.
Ursula,
Yes, because
yes.
it was
Ursula is the
delicious,
queen.
honey.
Yes. Ursula is the queen of that kale salad.
Oh, it
Yes,
was
she is.
delicious.
Amen. Yes, it is. All right. Well, make sure you guys go and check on Miss K. Renee at any particular time. Darling, tomorrow night when we come back, if we're back, if the snow does not knock our internet out, we're going to
Yes.
play games tomorrow night. We're going to play Black entertainment throughout the decades. And we're going to talk
Oh,
about top songs, the top movie stars. We'll play
okay.
questions tomorrow night when it comes to Black entertainment in honor of Black History Month.
Sounds like a plan.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we want to thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. For more information about yours truly, please visit therealchatdaddy.com, therealchatdaddy.com. You can go right to my website, learn everything you need to know. If you've not done so yet, please go over to YouTube and subscribe to The Real Chat Daddy Show. It's free. It's easy. Does not cost you anything. It helps us out quite a bit for us to be able to get sponsors and funding for the show. Okay. All right. What else do we need to talk about real quick? That's it. Stay safe, you guys.
Yes.
If you're in the Chicagoland area and you need someplace to go out of this weather, 311 is the number that you will call, 311. If you don't have to go anywhere in the morning, stay your ass in the house. Like we said during the pandemic, stay your ass in the house. Okay.
That's right.
What else we need to remind them, darling?
Just, stay warm. If, stay safe. And, we're going to hopefully ride this storm. For those who are in the Chicagoland area, we're going to ride it out.
Thank you, Imelda. We love you so much.
You,
Debbie Green, we love you so much.
Thank you, Debbie.
Mr. Brown, we appreciate you. And Miss Bonaparte, we appreciate you.
Always.
Shanita, who else do we have? We had Helena on here with us tonight.
Yeah,
Candace, we love you. Who else? Where was Joseph at tonight? He wasn't here. Hey, Rick
Scorpio. Scorpio Love is on here.
Yeah, I know Scorpio Love is on here. We know that. Yes, that's right, Tariq. Oh, I love her. She says love
is a verb. Yes,
it is a verb.
All day long.
Yep. All right. Well, I'm getting ready for the snowstorm. I've gotten everything I need in the house, and tomorrow I'm going to work on just other things. All right. Love you guys so very much. We'll see you tomorrow night. Thank you so much. Who is that? Chicago Hush.
Househead.
Househead. Yay. Yes. Amen. We know who that is. Yes. Very good. Love you too. Yes. Love you guys. Lolita, I'm getting ready to go have me a pinch. Just a pinch. Calm my nerves.
After snow is gone, then he come over and give me a pinch.
Yes, absolutely. All right, we love you guys. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow night. Be safe, stay out of trouble, stay warm, and do everything that's necessary. We love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow night at 7. Bye.
Bye.